Never seen one of those before.
It's good to keep these things. I've got
Look at that. I'm awestruck by your floating machine. Look at that. That's amazing.
Great bit of kit, yeah.
I was just talking to him about the drone I've got, Rupert there, and it flies itself. Because I tried to put it up and it stopped in the air. I tweaked what happened is the transmitter had crashed. I restarted the transmitter. By then I just wanted to land the damn thing. And after that it responded and came home again. So it was sat there waiting for a signal. Go on, tell me what to do now, you know. And so it was basically full under its own control, like your wheelchair. Because you couldn't fly a thing like that. It would be so unstable. And it's all done with computers. And of course it sat there until I finally twigged I needed to restart the transmitter, and it came home. Now safely in the back of the car. So it's Clive Burke, by the way.
I'm Mike McKenzie.
Mike McKenzie, pleased to meet you. Oh yeah, from my year, bless him.
Nice to see you.
Deverux. You were never called that, were you?
73 to 78.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we crossed over because I was 78 to 80.
Yeah, I mean, the old thing is I can't remember quite, but I think it was about 61 to sort of 68.
Right, so this gentleman is probably one of your contemporaries.
Yeah, that is just amazing. Technology. Yeah, my career in radio control technology started here.
Yeah?
Very nearly ended here.
Excellent.
That's one of the reasons why I brought it, kind of coming back home. And alas, it proved just as flaky now as it did then. Lucky I didn't make a hole in the roof of someone's car, but it was a bit scary. I think
it was.
It was sat there, I was looking at the thing, there's like £1,000 worth of hardware stuck in the sky, and I'm going, come home.
Yeah.
Power off. The classic fix for anything technological. Turn it off and back on again.
Yeah.
And then it suddenly noticed I was getting closer, and of course I'd realised I'd left it in go home mode.
Yeah.
Came back and settled nicely in the ground. Very clever piece of kit, but
it did need a repair.
But it has been. No, it did something very silly. It decided to switch its motors off while it was airborne, and tried to make a hole in Dorchester Recreation Ground. So I must admit, I think I'd have a rude word with the manufacturer when I get back. But yeah, let's have a closer look at this old building. People, I investigate this theatre here. Right, I'm going this way first. This is full of memories and all. This was built while we were here.
The octagon, yeah.
Do you know the main frame went up 3 days?
Accelerated learning centre.
Yeah.
I think that's going to come down very quickly.
Yeah, I should imagine it would. It actually wasn't that successful even when it was new, so that's one building that I don't really lament demising.
No.
It was just, but again, of course, it looks much smaller now than it did then.
Yeah.
But I did get to see inside it when I was here, and the rooms looked tiny, and I thought, how did we ever fit in there? And of course, we were small and skinny, and we'd gotten quite easy. And there's the old porter cabin. That porter cabin was in the middle there.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
And I believe the room that now is in the middle was the Barrington room, which is the old music room, which used to be up the top. So they did a lot of reshuffling about. And they say they got the school absolutely just right, and then it all went completely what's it.
And they haven't even emptied that
No.
art room, have they?
Look at it, that's true, isn't it? It's got creativity still in it.
Still, yeah. Just, a class could just turn up
And go into that.
and run. Yeah, look, there's even paint on the.
Look at that.
Oh,
The glue gone, and there's a
That's incredible, isn't it?
guillotine and all the chair.
Isn't it incredible that people didn't empty it out?
Like the Marie Celeste. You know, Didcot Power Station, the one that half collapsed. Well, I worked there for 10 years.
Oh, did you?
Apparently, when it closed down on the last day and they shut it all down for the last time,
Yeah.
everyone had it all set up as if they could come back to work the next day, turn it all on again. The workshops and everything, the overalls were all hung up. Nobody really was actually making any attempt to shut it down as such. They were just all the. God, I wonder, who made those. It's amazing you think they'd leave those behind. Those kids kind of take their item home, wouldn't they? Maybe they intended to. Maybe they're going to come back the next year and they never got around to it, so it just got abandoned. And let's see, my goodness, Mr. Reese was in here. Oh, it's been divided up. No, like changing rooms and whatnot. Yeah, it's just a classroom, one piece. I learnt technical drawing in there. Yeah, it's obviously a storage room now.
Yeah, storage.
Porter cabin. And what took its place was the Barrington room. And they tucked it in there. It used to be up the top where that new building is. They put it down there.
So they moved it?
Moved it, yeah. Now to make way for the new build up the top there. I can't remember what that is. It looks quite old, like, even if it wasn't there. And I think that's new behind it. I think that's gone up since we were here. What definitely went up since we were here was that room there, the mechanical workshop. There used to be tennis courts.
And the guy, the teacher whose baby that was is here. They've lost the felt on here, but they're not worried because they're just going to knock it down, aren't they?
Yeah. And
Keith Parker used to teach in there.
yeah, that was it. Yeah. Suddenly I'm hit by a right of memories. Yeah, Keith Parker and who was it?
When I came here, last came here,
That's the
I was
Barrington.
really impressed with that building. It's beautifully built. And I do hope things like that last because it's just so well built.
Well, I did a job surveying schools for a while for solar panels.
Did you?
And I used to get up onto the roofs of these places. And this building here looks like it's made of stone compared to some of the buildings we were. That Porter cabin is better made than some of the. We were going into places like inner city areas, and some were places up in Birmingham and up north. And the schools, I'm not kidding, they're built of cardboard. Yeah. You'd stand on the roof and you'd think, it's sagging. You can't put solar panels on this, it'll end up in the kids' laps. Really tacky, leaky, flaky, rough-looking, built out of ticky-tacky in a hurry and haven't been touched in 50 years. Really awful, absolute neglect. Now, talk about crumbling infrastructure, and then you've got this place, relatively sound, needing a coat of varnish, they're going to pull it down. It's madness. Any of these things open.
Locked.
Yeah, you don't know why they bother.
I'm amazed they haven't had an auction to sell the school stuff, because there would be schools who would send people along and say, there's some value in that. In that projector, there's a 50 quid worth of projector on the ceiling.
Yep. Oh yeah, there is.
Oh, what's the memories?
Is this the Barrington room? Yeah, were there two rooms up there or just the one? There's a piano in it.
That's a piano, yeah.
Oh, school piano's the best.
Right, things are moving.
Right, okay. I'm going to pay a quick visit to Mr. Hassel. Yeah, that was the science lab. Much of what I learnt about science and physics started off in there. Chemistry lab, Mr. Townsend or Townend, I can't remember which. Rather solidly constructed stool. Yeah, my camera off for a wee moment.